Hello and welcome back to Tronic Plays. I'm your host Tronic, and today we're going to be discussing the topic of copper mining in Valheim. Stick around to see me get wrecked by a troll. Valheim is an absolutely fantastic game that I would recommend to anyone, especially for those that enjoy putting their imagination to building and crafting. Initially, wood and stone are going to be all you need, but there comes a time when the game requires more exotic materials, such as tin, copper and bronze. To make bronze, you need to combine copper and tin, but we'll go over that in another video. Whereas tin is pretty accessible and found in abundance next to most coastline water sources, copper is accessible by painstakingly boring to acquire in large amounts. And due to its weight, carrying large quantities back and forth is trying at its very best. So today I thought I would share with you how I set up and created a more unconventional mining camp that offers benefits you may not have thought of yet. Make sure to stick around to the end to get all the information as it may help you out. We also get absolutely wrecked by a troll that comes up and surprises us at our previous camp. As you can see in the background, I'm preparing to leave my main camp by loading my inventory with everything I need, including food, tools and weapons. This area of the map I'm mining has at least 3 copper deposits to mine, so I don't intend coming back anytime soon. Once I'm happy I have everything, I rest up to gain the stamina increases that come from being rested. Now, I've left this part in as I wanted you to get a feel of just how far away these deposits are from my camp, and you may come across this situation yourself, hence me making this video. Eventually, regardless of the efficiency of the mining task in the area, you're going to need to ferry the resources back and forth anyway. I can only assume I may be able to use a ship for that once I've built one, but at this time I'm in the same boat, no pun intended, as the rest of you, and doing absolutely everything on foot. As you've just seen, in the area there are at least 2 troll caves with a minimum of 3 trolls in the vicinity as well. And I've also come across no fewer than 3 grey dwarf spawns, so the area is absolutely riddled with enemies. So you'll see how I get around that a little bit later on. So we've now arrived at the site of the copper deposits, and straight away we're going to collect some resources. You don't need a lot for this method of mining. Luckily wood and stone resources are everywhere, and the grey dwarf that you kill, they carry small amounts as well. If I freeze frame here, you can see the size of the copper deposit. Make sure to note the exact size of it. It doesn't look that big and you'd be forgiven for thinking so, but later in the video you'll get to see just how big this one deposit is and why you should always dig a little deeper. Now that we have our resources, it's time to start thinking about building our mining camp. Now you are probably the same as me, and maybe you still are, and building your miner camp on the surface. Now stop doing this. Mining is extremely noisy and attracts a lot of enemies. My first camp was destroyed multiple times by a nearby troll that kept coming back and investigating the noise that I was making. The same goes for a nearby grey dwarf. By digging down in the right way, you get the added benefit of protection as the enemy cannot enter your subsurface camp. I have an example of that just a little bit later on in the video. So all we're doing here is just digging down, but as you can see on the left hand side of the screen, I've dug down in layers. This is going to help with the protection I was on about, and you'll get to see that a little bit later on. All we're going to do here is simply just place a workbench to repair our tools, a bed as our spawn and save point, a fire for warmth and to be able to use the bed, and as many storage boxes as you may need or see fit. As you can see, I'm just expanding the surface area just there of the camp just to make a little bit more room for my storage boxes. You can already see by this grey dwarf that's now incoming that he can't get down into our camp. I've got another example a little bit later on as well, involving a group of grey dwarf. So that's the main furniture that we're going to need in our camp all set up. All we're going to do now is just quickly get rid of these grey dwarf that are in the vicinity, just because they're a little bit annoying. And then we're then going to concentrate on putting a roof on the shelter itself. A roof is obviously needed for obvious reasons. It keeps the elements out, so it's not going to put the fire out that's in the middle of our shelter. You also need a roof to be able to use the workbench. So now that that's complete, this is how our shelter is looking from the outside. And as you can tell, it looks a lot better. It's nice and hidden. And as we've already proven, the Grey Dwarf can't enter from this direction. Now that we've finished our mining camp, all there is to begin mining. Now, you can see already the benefits of having a mining camp. Copper ore is extremely heavy, and to keep moving it backwards and forwards in short bursts is just not time efficient. So building this mining camp close by, having storage boxes that you can go to and drop off, just means that you can continue mining for quite a few days without having to go back to your camp. Here we have the example that I was talking about earlier on in the video. At this point in our mining process, we start getting attacked by a number of Grey Dwarf. Now, I just wanted to test out what we saw earlier on, so I run back to the mining camp to see what the Grey Dwarf do. Usually they'll just keep chasing you, but because we're in a subsurface mining camp, the Grey Dwarf don't seem to be able to find a way down to be able to get to you. So we're easily able to climb out of our shelter and take out these Grey Dwarf. I'm yet to try this out with a troll. I assume they'd be able to take out the roofs which are above our heads, but I don't think they'd be able to touch you inside the camp itself. I was actually a little bit lucky to come across this next tip. I just happened to put out a couple of campfires, just simply to give me some more light when I was mining at night. However, as we fast forward a little bit, what you can see here is that this stone is actually starting to protrude out and above me. Now if you keep watching, you can see that there's a resting symbol come up above my head. Now what this stone is doing is creating essentially a roof that's over my head. So with the warmth of the fire and the roof essentially that the stone has become above my head, I can now gain the resting effect back for the next 10 minutes without having to go back to my camp. I thought that might be interesting to some of you, and I thought it might be interesting to share. Next up, I want to share with you just how massive these copper deposits are. Now, and once all of the ground has been picked away there, you can kind of see just how deep this deposit is. Now, I did go on to clear it out to the left and right as well, and it was all underneath where I'm standing as well. So you can see just how much there is underneath the surface compared to what there was when we first turned up. Come the end of our mining operation, you can now see just how many resources we were able to collect. This still took us a very long time. I think it took roughly an hour to an hour and a half to accumulate all of these resources. And most importantly, we managed to come away with around 68 cores. This wouldn't have been possible by doing it a traditional way, by keep ferrying it backwards and forwards once our inventory was full. So that brings us to the end of the video, and I hope you can see why it is an important time saver to create a small subsurface mining camp when you're on your big resource digs, and the benefits it can offer you whilst resource gathering in Valheim. If you've liked this video at all, and if it has helped in any way, make sure to hit that like button and follow the channel, as we have videos coming up with top tips for beginners, as well as shortcut keys on your keyboard that make life a hell of a lot easier when cutting around Valheim. If you would like to go one step further, we are live every single day playing Valheim over on Twitch. If you want to come and check us out between 4 PM and 6 PM GMT every single day. If you want to be in with a chance to get your hands on a free copy of Valheim, we do have a Valheim giveaway coming up on our Twitch channel. Just go over to Twitch and follow the channel, Tronic Plays, for more information. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope it's helped you out in some way, shape or form. And as always, GG and have a good evening.
Yeah, they did create a base. You guys can back off.
Oh,
These loads
nice.
of stamina. Now you can get it.
Oh, okay. We're just, like... You can create... We've got another thing coming in there.
Stand there and chuck rocks at me, dude.
You guys can back off.
Oh! Oh my god, where'd that come from? It came and got involved. Do you see how close it got to me a minute ago? It didn't even do anything. And then it got involved then? You kidding me? What's going on with that hut as well? Oh! Oh my god, where'd that come from?
That'll do.
Too exposed. It came and got involved. What the hell? Do you see how close it got to me a minute ago? It didn't even do anything.
Well, I might as well save it now, mightn't I? And then go back and get my body in the morning.
What's going on with that hut as well?
It's got a roof on it, that'll do.
Too exposed. What the hell?
Well, I might as well save it now, mightn't I? And then go back and get my body in the morning.